microphone has like a compass or something weird on it.
Wait, what's the date? Oh my God! The date is whatever this date is when it says it's going up. That's when the date is.
It'll probably be whatever is on the video when you click on it.
March 12th, but it'll probably be a week from now when it goes up.
Yeah.
So.
So there we go.
We recorded.
So, okay, so here we are.
We're doing Fatcast number. I don't want to keep track anymore.
Welcome to Retro Fatcast.
We'll just go by date because honestly, at some point we'll have Retro Fatcast number 372.
So here we are doing number 372.
Sure feels like it.
It took us a while to get to this one, but you know
that last 3 years just flew by. I tell you what,
I feel a lot older and more tired than I was a week ago.
Do you feel wiser?
No.
Okay. Well, there you go. We are now doing a podcast. Oh wait, it's not a podcast. Podcasts don't exist anymore. It's all Retro Fatcast now in the future. Okay. So
we're the only thing that exists.
Yeah.
That podcast fad. Boy, no one saw that coming. You know, they just all
we won the podcast wars, and now
all podcasts are called Retro Fatcast.
Yeah.
Yes.
Only one left.
So there we go. All right. Well, let's see.
Introductions are in order. I am still Jason.
That's Jason, yeah. We got Lauren over here.
Yeah, I'm over here.
My name is Wes.
Wes, he's over there. Okay. So
and I'm a chocoholic.
We're pointing, but we're talking into a microphone, so
no, I can hear me. I'm gonna.
You don't.
You can hear the point.
If you listen carefully, you can hear which way we're pointing.
The trick is to hear the air.
Hear that?
Moving.
That's the point. All right. Okay. There we go. That's me. That's me. That's something coming out of me. All right. So there we go.
Put your pants back on.
No, I like it's freeing. I like it.
Well, we're uncomfortable.
Okay.
I don't like that at all. You know what's also uncomfortable? Eraserhead.
Eraserhead.
I have watched Eraserhead. That delightful
David
film
Lynch.
made by
What
David Lynch.
What a guy. What a chum.
What? It was made in the 70s? What year exactly?
When was it made?
80s? 90s? 70? 1, 2, 93?
I would guess late 80s, early 90s. That would be my guess, but
because the DVD says like 2000 something, but that's when the DVD was made. I don't know when the movie was made. But
yeah, so
anyway,
what'd you think of it? What'd you think of it? That David Lynch guy, huh?
Yeah. So I've been thinking about it
a lot,
and now you're just more confused than you were to begin with.
Does it count as like? Here's the weird thing about David Lynch is he is like a really famous director and like writer and everything, and he's big. Like he's considered mainstream, but his movies are not mainstream in the sense that like he's like the one art director.
Yeah.
that like makes artistic films.
That's the sense I predominantly got from Eraserhead. It was like some weird low-budget college film that some student would do for like some kind of class project.
Yeah.
Which, okay, but yeah, so it's hard to describe. Like a lot of people, if they have a movie they like, they say, I really liked it. Or if they don't like a movie, they say, I don't like it. As far as Eraserhead goes, I don't know. I can't sum it up with like one, I like it. I can't just say that. I can't just say, I don't like it. Because I'm not really sure. It was interesting. It was interesting.
I really like it.
Yeah, see, like, I don't think I could just say that, but I have been thinking about it a lot. I watched it about, maybe 5 days ago. Yeah, like, first of all, I'm not really sure what to make of it. Like, if it was supposed to be a scary movie, or just a weird movie, or tells some kind of cohesive story, I don't know. It was... Okay, I guess we should sum up, Eraserhead for people who might not know, like, probably not spoil it, but then again, I don't know how I could spoil it, even if I said everything that happens in it, because it's so weird. It's more about the experience. It's like a weird, nightmarish sort of feeling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The whole movie's black and white. It takes place, it's like this weird, bleak guy who lives this weird bleak existence with his weird bleak girlfriend, and he like visits their family and they're all weird and bleak, and he keeps like, I don't know if they're visions or he's hallucinating or if it's really happening, you never know. It's kind of left up to the interpretation of the viewer, like
Right.
most of the stuff in the movie is.
Right.
It's just weird stuff. Like he's sitting down to have dinner with this girl's family, his girlfriend's family, and they're like little fried chickens, and he starts cutting into one, but then it like starts bleeding and gyrating on the table, and it's like just
I know, that
weird.
part is
He's
amazing.
looking at it like, what's going like, and the family's not reacting to it at all. So
Right.
you wonder if it's even going on in his mind or if it's real. And since everyone's so weird anyway, who knows? Like, it's just so
It could
bizarre.
be the normal that
I
it
keep
is that
trying
weird.
to, as I watch the movie, I keep trying to make sense of it, but it's like, it's, I think that's the thing. It's like, I don't know if there really is any sense to it. I think these are just things that he's like dreamed up, and he's just executing on creating the dreams that just come into his mind. And it's interesting when you watch a film like that, you're trying to maybe like, you sometimes maybe try to derive meaning from it all, but
Yeah,
it's,
or try and create some kind
Yeah.
of structure out of it to make sense of it. But then
Yeah.
again, there just might not be any there to be had.
yeah.
And it is very much like having a weird dream. The way a lot of dreams work, it seems like you think about one thing and then you think about another thing. It sort of like mixes in with the first dream until it takes over.
Right.
It's
right.
kind of like in this, the guy's sitting in bed, like trying to sleep or whatever. And then he like looks at the furnace or radiator or whatever. And then all of a sudden he's like imagines or sees or whatever, a girl dancing in it. And then it like switches to her dancing for a while. And then weird little sperm monsters appear on the stage and she starts stepping on them and it's gooey and weird. It's so fucking bizarre. But really, like, other than random weirdness, like, I don't really like weirdness for weirdness's sake. But the one thing that stuck with me is, okay, so, like, the only real story is the guy and his girlfriend had a baby, but the baby is like some deformed little salamander-looking monstrosity. And that thing was interesting because it's like a weird puppet they had to make for the film. David Lynch in interviews has never said how he made that thing. Like, he's always real secretive about, like, oh, I don't know, it was born from the minds of it. It's like, yeah, whatever. It looks like a skinned rabbit fetus or something. But he had to make, like, working parts. Like, it had moving eyes and a mouth. It could, like,
Yeah.
spit up
I don't know
barfy
how
stuff.
he did that. I mean, what the
It
that
was
that
so
was like
weird.
such a weird little thing. That movie really like,
That prop in particular is, like, the one thing that stuck with me. It's like, what the fuck is
how
that
did they
thing?
do it? How did they do
make
it?
that?
Right. It
And
looked amazing. And
David
it looked,
Lynch knows that. He's
it
not
looked
gonna
so
tell anyone.
disgusting. Yeah, I know that's interesting.
That's
that
kind of
he's
the
not gonna
charm.
say
It's like,
anything.
oh, I just did this and this, and be like, oh,
yeah.
it's kind of interesting
When
that
you
he
don't
doesn't
know.
that
Yeah,
you don't know,
totally.
but at the same time, what the fuck is that thing?
right, right.
It's a little
Man,
monster.
that thing scared me so bad. Like when
it's just on the table, like making
all-
these little
yeah.
gyrations and going meh, 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 like crying or whatever, and the guy's trying to sleep, and
Yeah.
he's
So
like
this
just,
so this
ugh.
thi- so this guy, yeah, he takes this thing that he's, I guess,
It's supposed to be
he's
like his
his
girlfriend's
child, right?
baby,
Yeah,
his
it's
child,
like his
but
child, but it's like this
deformed.
It's like this weird fetus of some other animal type, and
Just some
and they
monster
don't
thing.
know what it is, and they don't know how to take care of it, and I guess it's kind of like maybe a metaphor for like when you actually have like a child for the first time or
Yeah.
something. It's
supposed
like you
to
kind of feel
reflect,
like you don't know
David
what the
Lynch's
hell's going
fears
on.
of
You can't-
fatherhood. Like,
Yeah.
oh, why is the
Yeah.
baby crying? Oh my god, I'm
Right,
scared. What if
right.
I touch
So-
it wrong? It's gonna explode.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically like that part. Also, man, when he first gets out in the apartment, like there's that one jump scare where it's like, oh, you are sick. Like he's looking at it, it's not sick, and then he turns
and
away.
then all of a sudden
and
you
all
turn around and then it's covered with sores and it's like,
Yeah,
whoa, and
yeah.
it's like, whoa.
That part like scared
and
me so
it's funny
much.
because he's just like,
God.
oh, you are sick. Just kind of all
Yeah.
like calm. Like,
Yeah.
that's the funny thing.
Nonchalantly.
All this weird stuff that's happening, whether it's real or not, in his head or not, the guy is used to it. So his reaction to these things in this crazy nightmare world, he's very bland. He never reacts to anything in more than just like a confused stare. He's
Just
never
like
like
it's normal.
freaking out. He's never yells or gets angry or has any emotion really other than just sort of like mild confusion. Even when other people are screaming their heads off, he just takes it all in.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre.
All right, well, okay, so you
It's a
saw.
weird movie. People should see it, and like, I mean, I can
think
see
so?
why a lot of people might not like it.
Yeah.
Like, some people like it, some people hate it. I'm kind of in the middle. Like, I just found certain parts of it interesting, particularly the weird fetus monster. Like he cuts the bandages that are holding the thing together, and it's like a bunch of weird guts inside, and he like stabs it for some reason.
Right.
It's supposed to reflect like infanticide, some bullshit. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
it turns into a giant super salamander head, and then
Yeah.
like it goes into crazy nightmare
I
state.
know.
And then the movie just ends. It just ends. It's like, what the fuck happened?
But it is an entertaining. It's interesting, like how his films kind of keep you engaged, like as
Yeah,
even though they barely make sense.
At the very
Like,
least, I will say I wanted to finish it out. I never was like, oh, this is boring, I'm gonna stop. Like I
Yeah.
did want to see it through. It's just like, what the hell did I just watch? Kind of feeling.
All right. Well, there we go. We're starting the podcast off differently than before by talking about a movie.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, I mean, I was playing Super Mario RPG and I did 100
Hey, you
super
did
gems.
that again just a second ago. You were just
Yeah,
playing it a
so-
second ago.
Remember,
Was that
if you
actually
might
the second
remember-
time that you ever did it, or
I've done it several times now,
Okay.
but if you remember last time I was bragging about I did 100 super jumps in Mario RPG, which
Yeah.
again is really freaking hard to do.
Yeah.
And of course I was by myself, and this time I was able to do it with witnesses, so hooray for me. There's proof, sort of, but now I guess we should record it, so
Eventually. I mean, we did just get a video capture device.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
there we go.
We
You
got
guys
a
might
video
actually see
capture
videos on our video site, on
Yeah.
our video YouTube channel.
how about that? YouTube
Wow.
videos that have video.
Eventually, we might
what
get
a
a
novel
website.
idea.
That might be cool. We did have a website, or we do have a website, retrofat.com.
sorta
But it's kind of,
dead-ish.
yeah, it's pretty dead. We're going to do a new website at some point, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But there could be, yeah, then when we do that, then we'll probably be easier to get these into actual podcasts. But until then, just look on, just like press the play on the YouTube thing and put the iPod in your pocket. And
No,
there you
yeah.
go.
Hopefully,
And,
we can start doing some cool
Yeah.
neato videos.
Yeah, so-
who wants to see Mega Man Soccer? I do.
So, yeah. I do. I
yeah,
think I do. Do I?
Mega Man Soccer's fun. I
I
like
don't
it.
know.
I've seen it.
Maybe I don't want to.
Dude, what?
Underwhelming.
All right.
Watch Jason
You're
beat
underwhelming.
somebody at it.
No, I agree with you about
So
that. though.
our
It's
video,
awesome. It's robots playing soccer, and they can kaboom the goalie into pieces with Super Shot.
It
Why
is.
isn't
didn't
it
see
called
that.
Mega Man Football?
Mega Man Soccer, man. When did Mega Man Soccer come out? It's
After
a Super
I
Nintendo
think,
game.
yeah, after I think Mega Man 4.
Okay.
It's funny because people are like, oh, well, Super Nintendo's out. They're going to put Mega Man on that now instead
Yeah.
of Nintendo.
Yeah.
But they kept making Nintendo games up until 6. And they were doing the X series on Super Nintendo. It wasn't until Mega Man 7 they finally put normal Mega Man on Super Nintendo. It's funny to think the first Super Nintendo Mega Man was Mega Man Soccer.
Yeah.
And it's like, here's Mega Man finally on the Super Nintendo. It's a soccer game?
Right.
What?
Right. So why do you think they picked soccer? I mean, it's a Japanese game. Wouldn't you think they would maybe pick baseball?
Yeah, I think they figured soccer is more of a worldwide recognized sport. Like
That's true. they're
soccer
like-
is
except for in
one
America.
of the most. Yeah,
I know.
But as far
What
as
is
the
that
entire
about?
world, like soccer is probably one of the most
Yeah.
popular sports, the most
it totally
recognized.
is. It totally is. So I guess the game did well in Europe, right?
I guess that's the thing. I think the game was sold. Pretty sure it was sold in America and Japan.
Is soccer big in Japan? Do
should have been
people like?
sold.
Do you think anyone know? Do you think people really like soccer? in
I
Japan?
don't know. I know they like baseball.
They like baseball. That's what people say. That's what I say.
There's a
And
million
pro
baseball
wrestling.
games.
They like pro wrestling. Yeah,
Man, that's what I was saying earlier. A Mega Man pro wrestling game would be awesome.
that would be pretty badass.
Imagine like freaking like Needle Man just pile driving a fool and then like shooting him with needles.
All right, let's keep this train moving. Lauren, hello.
Hello.
What have you been up to? Have you been playing any video games?
Yes, actually.
What video games have you been playing?
Well, Wes was talking about Torchlight.
Torchlight.
Last time we were here.
Oh
and,
yeah.
He showed me a little bit of the gameplay, and
Okay.
then when I went home, I downloaded the demos for
Aha.
Torchlight and Torchlight 2.
Torchlight 2.
Demos. I love
So
demos.
you have the demo. So now,
Yes.
with the demo experience.
So I played the first demo and liked it a lot. Then I played
Yes.
the second demo and
Uh-huh.
liked that one a lot.
Okay.
And it's like, well, it's $4.
This sounds
so I'm
logical.
gonna buy the second game.
That sounds like a
Because
logical decision.
I played the demo and I liked it.
That's the
The whole point of a demo.
yes. I wish they would do more demos. Why don't more games just have regular fucking demos?
Yeah, I know.
Where's the fucking demos? Everyone's doing this fucking give us money now before the game's even made, and then you get to play it while it's a beta and it's not even working, and then you fucking have to
Patrick's
not ever get a
angry.
fucking thing when it's complete. You have to just tolerate this piece of shit bullshit,
So-
and you don't even know how good it's gonna be when it's done.
I
and
know
then
you
give
guys
up.
donate a lot of money to
Demos-
our game to get
demos
it produced,
are
but
important.
we couldn't finish it, so we're not going to give
I
you
want
even
to buy
the
a
beta
completed
game.
game, and I want to be able to play a little bit of it with a demo.
Yeah. So basically, I've been
Back
playing
in
a
our
lot of
day, we
Torchlight
get to
2.
demo discs and
Yeah.
magazines.
Yeah,
like
what
PC
happened? What
Gamer.
happened to demo discs coming like with like magazines and bullshit like that? Do they still do
What's
that?
a magazine? Huh?
Yeah.
They still do
Do you
magazines?
see? Do they still have
Man,
magazines that
nowadays
have
we
CDs
get a
in
piece
them?
of paper. There's lots of paper
not that
and
I
have
know of.
pictures
Okay.
on it and
Yeah.
come in the mailbox.
Does your
Now,
game-
I'm going to tell you what the mailbox
Game
is.
Informer is still a magazine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But they don't do the
Yeah, they don't
demo
do
discs
demo
or
discs.
anything
I remember
anymore.
like
Right.
PlayStation demo discs from like you'd get those sometimes.
Yeah.
Not even in magazines.
Yeah.
Just like PlayStation Underground was a big one,
Right.
and Dreamcast demo discs.
Right.
And I think around that era they started like Xbox, PlayStation 2, GameCube era. I think that's when that stuff started disappearing. There is some PlayStation 2 demo discs, but like I think they started phasing them out around that time when
Okay.
people were starting to. The internet was becoming
Yeah,
more
that was
predominant, so
interesting.
people use the internet now to get info on games rather than getting a demo disc and getting their information that way. It was more
Yeah.
about getting information out to people rather than having a playable game.
Right. Okay.
But-
So Lauren. So okay.
Yeah.
What have you been playing again? Oh, Torchlight 2.
Yeah.
What do you
actually,
think?
I love it. It's
Looks
fun.
familiar.
Did you ever play
Um,
Diablo or any of those ones?
I actually didn't play Diablo, but I
Okay.
did play Nox and
Nox.
Darkstone. And,
So you play games like it.
Yeah, the
The
Diablo
point,
clothes.
the point and click things where it's
Yeah.
like you click, 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 click. I used to get annoyed by Diablo because when I first saw it, I thought it was kind of a dumb game compared to other RPGs because I was seeing people play it and I was like, wow, you just do a lot of this.
Yeah, whole
Like-
lot of click, click.
You see a problem
Click,
on the
click,
screen
click.
and you click it.
Yeah.
You click the problem. Keep clicking the problem. You're not actually ever like making decisions about like what type of attack am I doing? Where am I? It's like it's basically I was used
It's
to
like
things like
Advanced
Final Fantasy
Minesweeper.
where it's like you have to make more complex decisions about your combat. But like Diablo, I always thought it was kind of dumb. Then I've realized it's actually kind of a fun game. But it's not. It is kind of like it started out as sort of a dumbed down or more easily accessible. What do you call it? RPG.
Yeah.
It's an action RPG, but it's basically, and by today's standards, it's actually pretty awesome and complex. But I mean, I think RPGs maybe used to be a little bit more hardcore in a sense, not as much mainstream. But Blizzard has always been brilliant. Blizzard, the people that made Diablo and Warcraft and World of Warcraft and all that stuff, they've been brilliant at taking popular, nerdy, complex games, or at least popular among nerds, right? And making them more accessible to a wider audience. A lot of their games are these genres that they take and they kind of like dumb them down to be more accessible to everyone else.
Yeah.
Except I don't want to say dumb them down, but there I just said it a bunch of times. But that's basically they simplify things to make them accessible to
They
a larger
stupid them
audience.
sideways.
Yes. Right. So basically, I'm just saying everyone's stupid.
Oh, you don't mean
Hooray for being an idiot, because I love that game.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So there we go.
First one.
So what do you think? Anyway, I won't quite cut you off anymore. Just tell me your thoughts.
Torchlight 2 has so far been really fun because when I made my character in the demo, it was like you pop it up. In the first one, you get 2 pets to pick from, a cat or a dog. Dog people, cat people. But when I popped in the second one,
Wait, they're dog people and cat people, so it's like those are the races, or those?
no,
are the...
that's what people like as pets.
Oh.
There's the people who like dogs and hate cats, and the people who like cats and hate dogs.
What if you like guinea pigs?
Well, that's where Torchlight 2 comes in.
Oh my god!
Because when you go to pick your pet, it starts.
Please
on
tell
a-
me there's a guinea pig.
It starts on an alpaca. That's the
There's
first
no,
thing highlighted.
There's no guinea pig, but there's ferrets and badgers and stuff.
Yeah.
If you
Well, that's
pick the
pretty close.
alpaca,
That's
that's
pretty
grounds
close.
for termination from life.
Yeah.
But it was kind of cool because I was just scrolling through, looking at all these different pets, and I get to the very last pet on the list, and it is a head crab from Half-Life.
Right. Oh, a head crab from Half-Life.
From Half-Life.
From Half-Life.
I love Half-Life.
It's from Half-Life. It's the same
It
thing.
is the
It's
head
exact
crab.
same head crab from
From-
Half-Life.
And they call it
The exact same model.
And it's called
They call it a
head crab.
yeah.
Call
and
it a head crab.
jumps around and moves just like the head crabs in the game and stuff. And
That's
it's,
awesome.
It's awesome.
Does it attach itself to people's
So-
heads?
No, but that would be cool. And so yeah, I had to pick that and name him Hetty.
There you go. There you go. And people
And-
wonder why.
and-
Like you go, you're a wandering stranger, and you're
Yeah.
like, and this is my pet Hetty.
Yeah, don't worry, he's deep-eeked.
What do you use him for?
But
Hey, why don't you go get Hetty for me?
yeah.
What?
he's
Why don't you pour me a beer and make sure it's not too heady?
he's a good head warmer. But anyway,
That's a way of putting it. That's what she said. All right.
It is loads of fun because between the two games, it's like completely different feel to them,
Mhm.
even though they're like the exact same gameplay. Because
Right.
the first one, you're at Torchlight, the town,
Right, and you
going
just keep
down
going
the
back to
mine.
that same town. And you keep
And you
going
go
down,
down,
and down, and
down,
down,
down.
down. It's all about going down with Hetty.
In the second,
Yeah.
basically. In the second one, you're
Ugh.
it's more of an open, like giant map world that you're exploring, and they've got dungeons, but the dungeons are like usually only 1 or 2 levels. They're like really short,
Yeah.
and they've
Sounds
got
familiar.
quests that you go into. Now the second one, when I was playing it, I got like the real like a vibe kind of like Borderlands,
Okay.
except it's not first person.
Yes.
It's the Diablo style.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was looking online, and
You were getting a vibe like Borderlands? Is that what you're
yeah,
saying?
kind of
Okay.
because just running around and the way
Very
the enemies
open,
are at,
very
and
open, right?
everything.
Is that the idea?
Yeah, it
Every
feels,
mailbox is full of money.
Ah,
Well, that's Fallout. But,
billions and zillions of weapons? No. Okay.
No, lots of items.
Okay.
But it does feel a lot like Borderlands. And I was looking online. There's
Yeah.
actually a reference to Borderlands in the game.
Oh, wow.
I haven't found it yet,
Uh-huh.
but you can come across in a secret room a Claptrap.
Ooh.
The robot from Borderlands. And
Awesome.
He's got the same voice, and he actually says some unique lines that
Wait,
start to be
Is
kind
that
of
that
like
little wheelie robot?
yeah,
Yeah,
with the
yeah,
horns?
the
yeah.
wheel
I
robot.
hate that guy.
Why do you hate him?
He's annoying.
Oh.
But
He has such a high pitched voice.
Yeah, but he's fun. He's funny. He's like comic relief.
yeah, and he actually says some stuff
Like you,
kind of
Jason.
like his lines from Borderlands.
Maybe
Except
that's why
they're
you hate him
altered
so
a
much.
little. So I can't wait to find him
Funnier
because that
than
will be fun,
robot.
Yeah.
and it would be interesting to see it.
When you were also saying we both have been to this area, but neither one of us got the reference. But
What
you were
area?
saying
Oh,
that there's
yeah.
like a pirate cave,
Yeah.
and there's apparently
Ooh.
tons of references to the Goonies.
A pirate
Yeah.
cave. Ooh.
Because Wes was talking about it. 'cause
You
he's
ever
been
run into like a
playing-
big cranky old woman?
No,
It's like,
but
okay.
Wes has been playing Torchlight too, and he,
Yeah, and just as I predicted, I started playing it, and I haven't touched Torchlight since. so-
yeah.
Eh.
And,
That means it's better. It's 2. It's
it-
more than the first one.
It is
Now
pretty
the
good.
first game
But
kinda goes to
yeah,
waste.
Wes pointed out that cave, and it's like, yeah, I remember doing that, and yeah, I can't even remember where I read it on something online when I was looking up Torchlight 2. And yeah, this whole cave is just full of references from the
It's got
Goonies.
One-Eyed Willie.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Wow.
That's the end. That's the end boss.
that-
is One-Eyed Willie.
that
Awesome.
is the boss, the ghost of One-Eyed Willie.
That sounds
And-
suggestive.
And when I went through it,
It's just a
I-
bunch of kids in a cave with an old lady and some men having
And a one-eyed
adventures
Willy.
and a one-eyed Willie. What's suggestive about it?
But it's been so long since I've seen the
That's,
Goonies that I didn't even notice when I
Well.
went through, and Wes didn't notice.
Severely underage teenage
And-
girls.
Yeah, and then you after looking at it, you go, "Oh, yeah, there are references in there. I see it now."
Right.
They
Right.
got like the piano they had to play or die on or whatever, and like
All
the
right.
water slide. Man, we should
That
just watch
sounds awesome.
Goonies.
But-
So you actually did you play World of Warcraft?
I've been trying to get back online. A friend of mine that I play with has been bored and lonely because I'm not playing, and he
Why have you been trying to get back on? Oh, something happened. Your thing expired. You haven't been playing
Yeah.
because your thing expired. That's
And
right. That's right.
hit-
They kicked you off. You were playing too much. Blizzard was like, "Fuck
Yeah.
you."
pretty much.
Gee, no
So-
one's supposed to play this
So
much.
basically,
Oh
my account's been inactive for a while.
I'm worried
and,
about you.
my friend's been trying to do some achievements, and he needed my help. So
Okay.
he's like, "Do you know what? I'm going to pay for 15 day or the $15 for you to play for 30
Really?
days."
He paid for you.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I logged in, and he did.
I gotta start doing that. I'll just
you
gotta
do
find
that.
people desperate to have friends play World of Warcraft with
And
them
then
and
pay
be like,
for you?
come on, I'll play with you, but,
Come on,
but
I'll
I
be
don't
your
have any,
friend, I'll
like,
play with
I don't really feel like it. If you could maybe just pinch me a little bit of money. And then I'll,
So-
like, ask for more money than I actually spent on World of Warcraft.
Yeah, it was real nice of him to do, and so he popped that in there. So I went home and went to get online, and you log in and it says everything's like playing because it's got a launcher, and down there it says how much game time you have left.
Okay.
And when it's inactive, it's got the button reactivate.
Right.
Click here.
Reactivate.
Well,
Mhm.
that was gone. So I
Okay.
get and I play,
Yeah.
and it pops back up and it goes
Mhm.
to my character list,
Mhm.
and all my high level characters still say inactive.
Okay.
And off on the other side, it still says reactivate now to continue playing. And it's like, what do you mean? We paid, and so
Well, that doesn't make sense at all.
yeah,
Lauren.
it doesn't make any sense, and we're both really confused and upset about it because on the outside
Yes.
and on my account, even on in the Blizzard website account management, it says it's paid for and it's good up until the next month.
Okay.
And then I go to play, and it's like not letting me play. It still thinks it's inactive in the game, and neither of us know what's going on, and it's just weird. So
Well, that's fun, Lauren.
Yes.
Not playing World of Warcraft when you've paid for it, and well, your friend paid for it, and it still doesn't work.
yeah.
All right,
So,
that sounds like a
yeah,
lot of fun.
it's
Jason,
very
the state
annoying.
of Sonic. Sonic the Hedgehog, a blue.
Oh, the hedge. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, not good, I guess.
All right, Wes. Hello.
Hi,
How are you?
I am good.
Okay. What have you been playing?
Torchlight 2.
Oh my
Ow.
God! We were
Man.
just talking about that. You and Lauren
What
have
kind
a lot
of
in
game
common.
is this
I
Torchlight?
I can actually comment a little bit on the online gameplay because I've been
Yeah,
playing.
he's
online
done the
a little bit.
online. I haven't done the online.
Okay, comment on the online gameplay. Here, hold on. Here, get closer here. Let's gather round. Tell me a story.
I'm uncomfortably close to the microphone now.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Give me a story.
Well,
Come gather round. What is that? What he says? Give me a story.
Like,
No, come gather round.
come
Listen, listen, and listen for a while.
I don't know.
stay a while and listen.
Stay a
that's-
while and listen. Come gather round. Give me a story. Give me a head crab. Come down with me. Go down with
no
He says none of those things. But regardless. Okay, so
That's a very nice head crab you have, Wes.
first I gotta mention the way
magic schmuck.
First, I gotta mention the way loot works online in Diablo 2. It's all the same loot, like loot drops and
First come, first
the
serve.
first come, first serve. All the epic drops are obviously clicked on first, and then like if your inventory is full and you're like, oh, I clicked it first, but fuck, I have no space for it. Shit, I'm screwed.
But fuck.
So, but fuck, hell,
But
ass,
fuck.
penis. That's the way it works all the time online with Diablo 2. So I was playing Torchlight 2 online, and I was like, the people I was playing with, it looked like they weren't picking up anything,
Mhm.
and I was
Yeah.
confused.
Yeah.
And then
Why
I
were you
finally
confused?
figured out
Because they weren't picking up anything? Or like, people should be
'Cause
picking,
they weren't
up things.
picking up any
They're just
loot.
running past everything.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So I finally realized that loot isn't shared.
Loot.
Like loot is the loot that you see.
Only you can
They don't
yours.
see it.
They
Wow.
get their
So,
own.
so they've been
you
picking
get
up they've been
yours.
picking up all their own stuff and you don't see it. So
Well, that's kind of an
I like
interesting
that
way of solving
better.
the problem.
So everyone's
Yeah.
not like killing each other over
yeah,
all the good
it's
stuff.
Yeah.
it makes
Just-
it
it
kind of
makes
makes the game a little more friendly.
Right.
Yeah, you're not
That sounds
fighting over
interesting.
the epic
Well, that's
drops.
fine. We
That
need
sounds
more
good. How many
friendly
people
in
can you
this
play with at
world.
once on Torchlight 2?
I
4?
can't remember
Is it
now.
4?
I can't remember now.
I'd imagine 4 would probably be it.
I think it's 4.
I think it's
Probably.
about that. Yeah.
So anyway, this game's a lot like it's made by the same people as Diablo and everything. We talked a lot about and yes, keep going.
What?
I was just describing the entire history of Torchlight, and we're done.
Oh, I thought I
Okay,
scoped out
so
there
let's
for a
move on.
second.
Yeah,
I guess
there you
I
go.
was mistaken.
I might have had
I
one.
actually did play.
What day is it?
I actually did play a couple other
Oh.
things other than Torchlight 2.
What else did you play?
Persona 4, Persona 4, Persona 4, Persona 4, Persona 4, Persona 4, Persona 4.
Fast five, fast five, fast five, fast five, fast five, fast five.
That's not a game. That's a movie.
Oh yeah,
You played a movie.
it's a good movie though.
I,
You should watch it.
I was
You watched a game.
trying to play.
You're doing a podcast. You should be watching this movie about these movies.
Hey, we haven't
about
even
this
decided the
podcast.
date that we're gonna do that next podcast
Okay.
yet, so don't worry about
Fast
it. I will
five,
watch
fast
it
five,
before
fast
we
five,
do
fast
the
five,
podcast.
Persona 4, Persona 4, Persona 4.
Biohazard Battle.
Someone finish that game.
I know. Jason wants so badly.
Biohazard Battle.
What is that, Wes?
That sounds like Resident Evil.
Yeah, because it's called Biohazard in Japan, but I think
It's a
this is different.
side-scrolling bullet hell game,
Wow.
and
Wow.
you are a insectoid looking ship, and you're firing laser things, and you pick up power ups
For what system?
for Sega Genesis.
Oh, the Genesis.
Oh yeah, that game where you're like shooting the weird insects. I remember we were playing that 2 players.
Biohazard Battle.
Yeah, that
I was
game's
playing
cool.
some more of it, and it kicked my ass, and I got all stressed out. Like
Game's hard.
when I play it, I will play as long as it lets me. Basically, like you have 3 lives, and I think 10 continues.
Uh-huh.
So it's just like, and you get stuck in these spots. Like the way the difficulty works is, it's like there's these areas that are super easy, and then there's just these certain areas of the levels that just kick your fucking ass.
Yeah.
And it's stressing me out, and I'm
Yeah.
using like 3 continues on this spot to get
Yeah.
through it, and then I get to the boss, and it's way easier.
Oh my god.
That sucks.
The boss is easier?
The boss is
Well,
easier than
I
the
mean,
level?
at least the first couple bosses that I've gotten to, like, there's 8 stages in the game, and I fucking can't get past like
That is like Borderlands.
stage. I can't get past stage 3 by myself.
I've heard that Borderlands
Uh,
is a lot
J-
like that.
Jason and I were
2 players.
Jason and I were playing at 2 players, and I think we got to stage 4.
Okay.
Which
So
it
anyway,
did make it easier.
How do you
with 2
describe this
players,
game?
but-
What's your opinion? Like, if you were
two player definitely makes it easier because it doesn't ramp up the difficulty when you play 2
Okay.
players. Like
So
some
you
games.
guys
doesn't
two guys
add
shooting,
more
you-
enemies.
It doesn't
like
add
twice
more
the
enemies and
firepower.
stuff. It's
Yeah.
the same, pretty much the same game. It's just there's 2 people.
Okay,
Although it
well, that
can get
sounds fun.
confusing with all the projectiles and shit.
And then
I
I
would
think
maybe
you
like to
share
get it.
continues.
It was
which-
on a. It was,
is
but
weird.
it
Oh
was
yeah,
on
you do
sale.
share continues, so it is harder that way.
Yeah.
If
It was
one
on
person's
sale
dying.
on Steam, and I missed my
Really?
chance.
Really?
That game is on Steam.
Oh, Torchlight 2?
Torchlight 2.
Uh,
We were talking about Biohazard
Biohazard-
Battle.
Oh, fuck me!
What is going on?
I
We were talking
change
about
show.
Biohazard Battle for Sega Genesis.
Butt fuck.
oh, way to keep it classy.
Torchlight 2 is a fun game, by the way. You should play it.
Oh,
But Biohazard Battle, yeah.
oh anyway,
No,
Torchlight 2.
Um,
The color pink.
So Sonic 3D Blast.
We're not
Is it
talking
game
about
for
that
the-
at all.
I don't know what
So,
happened
yeah,
right
when-
there. I was like,
when-
basically, I for some reason my brain like did a skip, like skipped a beat, or maybe I really did have a stroke, Jason. And then all of a sudden,
I think you had a stroke.
and
It
then
sounded
and then
like
all of a
it.
sudden I was just
Worried.
like was thinking you were talking about another game, and I was like, the boss is easier than the, and I was like thinking because you were saying the boss is easier, and you were saying that that's a lot like. What's that game? Borderlands. I heard that Borderlands was. I was like, that must be Torchlight 2 he's talking about because I heard that Borderlands was like also has this issue where it's like it's a really cool game, but when you get to the bosses, they're fucking dumb and easy. Like, but
well, there's some bosses in that game that are
Anyway.
like really hard, but
Resident
yeah.
Evil Bullet Hell. How is it?
It's Biohazard.
Biohazard Battle.
Biohazard, whatever. You know, just I don't care.
Biohazard game of Resident Evil in Japan.
But no,
Is this what
it's-
kind of game is it again?
It's a shooting.
side
game.
I don't wanna-
scrolling bullet hell shooting game.
Side scrolling bullet hell shooting game. You are in a spaceship.
Sort of an insect
yeah, it's
creature.
You are an
like
insect
it's like a
creature.
bio creature.
You're an insect, so it's like
Yeah.
Yar's Revenge.
Like an
And
insect shooting.
There,
other
there's
bit
there's 4
insects.
different ones that you can choose from, and the only difference I can tell is it seems like when you get like there's 4 different colored power ups, and certain ones get like a different sort of projectile when they get a certain color,
Yeah.
and then the other ones get a different kind of projectile when they get the same color. That's the only difference I
so
can tell.
It,
sometimes.
just
Is
it's different weapon sets.
Cool.
Yeah.
Or something.
How long
and
were you
it's
playing
like-
this game? Did it hold your
It's
attention
like
for a long time?
yellow really fucking sucks with one guy, but then it's a really awesome
good
weapon
with
with
another
another
one.
one.
Okay.
Kind of a
A way to
Uh,
like
How
share
long is this
the
game? Did you beat the whole game?
No.
No.
No, it's 8 stages, and by myself I can't get past. I can get to stage 3, but I can't get
Where
past
did you
it.
find this
And
game?
then
Is this just at the,
when
is this
Jason
just
and
at
I
the
were
game
playing,
store?
when Jason and I were playing it, we got to stage 4, I think.
Okay. Did you just get this game at the game store or at Dimple or something? like
I actually bought it on eBay
Wow.
for $8.
that? Ooh. I wonder if that's a good price. You should see.
I think it's
Probably.
Is it a
it's
classic
decent
game?
price
It's
for
fun
the
game.
I think a lot of people it's not classic in the bullet hell genre
Yeah.
like the
I've never heard of it.
16-bit bullet hell genre. I don't think
I don't know a lot of bullet hell
people
games,
don't
bullet hell games.
I don't think people consider it a classic.
Okay.
Like I was looking at all the classic ones and they're like
Yeah.
$25 plus.
Right.
And I'm
Okay.
like I'm not
Like,
going to
here's
spend that kind of
Gunstar
money right
Heroes.
now.
It's a gazillion dollars.
Yeah.
There's Alien Soldier.
but
It's a gazillion
I
$1.
watched people playing it and I was like this looks fun
Okay.
and the music is amazing.
Cool.
And
So-
I don't know. It's fun. It's a fun game. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
And I think it's well worth $8 for sure.
Until some reviewer finds
yeah,
it
but
and
then
goes, this
I
is great, and then
I-
everyone
I'm
jacks up the
I'm
prices because
playing,
everyone wants
like-
it all of a sudden.
I'm playing through all these continues and I'm getting super like stressed out and on edge. And then when I get through it, this is my procedure. When I get through all my continues
Yes.
and I'm all stressed
Yes.
out, I pop in Miss Pac-Man and I just relax.
Oh yeah. Get that Miss Pac-Man.
Miss Pac-Man, she knows how to make a guy
Like,
relax.
Pop in Miss
Yeah.
Pac-Man into that slot, boy. I tell you what,
Going down.
It's-
Stick it in the
it's-
slot.
Going down.
it's like a come down cigarette.
She
after,
knows how to fill in those slots.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Good
It like
time.
it.
That's what I said.
It's such a mellow game compared. Like seriously.
Yeah, no, Miss Pac-Man's pretty good. It's a better game than Pac-Man.
Yeah, Miss Pac-Man for Sega
A lot of
Genesis.
people say so, at least. I don't know. I don't really play them.
For Sega Genesis, it's a good version of the game.
Yeah.
Um.
I mean,
cool
it's
two-player mode.
Miss Pac-Man's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, it's got the 2-player mode,
dig
and
it.
it's also got
Like the different size levels you can
It's
ever
pick.
play that
it's
HD
got
remix?
Super Pac-Man on it.
Uh,
yeah, it has
that
Super
was-
Pac-Man on it.
Ah, cool.
Wasn't that the Game Boy version you had? The Game Boy Color
Oh.
version?
Oh, you're right. Yeah,
Uh-huh,
yeah.
uh-huh.
The Game Boy version has Super Pac-Man on it. That's right.
Okay.
Here's the weird thing about Miss Pac-Man on Game Boy.
yeah.
You know how a lot of those arcade ports had the problem of, well, at least the Pac-Man ports had the problem of it's a vertical screen
Right.
on the arcade,
Right.
but
Right. On Game Boy, like, how do you do that?
For standard def TV, even on the TV,
Yeah. They always have to do something.
It scrolls up and down.
Oh, it scrolls
You
up and
can't
down
fit
on
the
the
whole
TV?
maze on the screen
I
at
don't-
once.
Does-
Why not?
Does Genesis?
That's got to be
scroll?
possible. You just
it
fucking
depends
put
on
the
the
thing,
size
you
of
put
the
little
level.
art on
Yeah,
the
the
side.
size of
and,
the
like,
level. It depends on the
Some
size of the
levels
level
are bigger
and
than
it
others.
scrolls.
The big ones have
Yeah.
to scroll.
But here's the problem with the Game Boy version.
arcade cabinets had like a
is
vertical monitor.
It
or
scro-
something.
Right,
not
right.
only does it scroll
You know what
up-
the arcade cabinets were? Is like the vertical monitor was just taking a regular monitor and turning it on its
Yeah.
side. It's like a. That's like.
Okay, so
But
That's
the
a
Game Boy
secret.
one.
so not only does the Game Boy version scroll up and down, but it also scrolls side to side. So
It's even
I've
smaller
more than
looking.
once I've gone into the side tunnel to come out the other side, and I've fucking run straight
Right
into
into
a
a
ghost
ghost?
because I didn't know it was there.
Wow.
Yeah, 'cause
It
you
was
couldn't see it.
going into the tunnel, and I
And
couldn't
there's-
see it.
Yeah, no way to
There's
So
no
see
way
it.
to
it's
tell.
like it's fucked up.
That's
It's-
like out of that's like
Yeah,
the
that
makes
makes
it
it like
needlessly
cheesy
difficult.
way to die.
if you have to play Miss Pac-Man on the go, it's fine, but it's kind of a fucked up version of the game.
They
because
just
of
that
that.
just
I
that
just
just
imagine a guy on a train like shaking, like I need Miss Pac-Man. I gotta have Miss Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I need Miss Pac-Man. And just like,
Oh,
freak
fucking
out.
that's me.
fucking ghosts.
That-
Yeah.
that's me actually.
But then you get the Game Boy version. It's like, oh man, this is better than nothing.
Damn it! I ran into
Yeah,
a ghost I
yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
see.
Oh, I can't see. Damn it.
All right.
Well,
there we
Which
go.
brings me to Gunstar Superheroes on the Game Boy Advance.
Holy
game's
shit! Have you been
cool.
playing that?
I hadn't actually been playing it recently, but
I need to play that.
um,
What is
if-
that game?
It's Gunstar Heroes, but
Cool.
on the Advance.
Yeah,
Alright,
and
good.
it's a much more affordable way of playing that type of game than the Genesis
Yeah.
version of the game
Which
because
is unfortunately
the Genesis
expensive
version
and
is
rare.
way too expensive for what it is. And I think I got Gunstar Superheroes game
What
on
does the
Game Boy
Genesis version
Advance.
cost? What are
a
you
lot.
talking about?
I don't know.
I haven't looked at prices recently, but I want to say at least $20.
Oh wow!
Well,
On eBay, is that what you're
I
saying?
think it's maybe 30.
Okay,
I think it's in that range somewhere.
interesting. Well,
But I think I got Gunstar Superheroes for. I think that one was like $5 to $8,
okay,
something like that.
Yeah.
And it's a really good game.
yeah,
Like, especially if you have like the Game Boy player on GameCube or something.
Mhm.
I think that'd be a great way to play that game.
Cool.
yeah,
Cool.
the game. I never really liked the Game Boy Advance screen. It was too small and dark and reflecty, and it was really hard to get the lighting
Even,
right.
even
and
on the
see.
SP, it can get weird.
Yeah, that
well,
front light
especially for
didn't work too well.
for that kind of game when there's so many projectiles on screen and it's like it's such a small screen and there's tons of projectiles and sometimes I'm getting hit and I don't know what's hitting me.
Yeah.
But it's an extremely fun game. If you want to play Gunstar Heroes and you haven't and you don't want to spend a bunch of money on the Genesis version, get that and experience Gunstar Superheroes because it's great.
awesome.
It's more better.
Well, we've been talking a little bit about what we've all been playing, but I think we went through that pretty quickly. So I don't know.
So I'm gonna talk about Killer Instinct.
There you go.
That is a fighting
You
game.
were playing that game today.
It's a great game.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
I've forgotten all the moves I knew.
Yeah.
Killer
I learned
Instinct.
a few.
That's an interesting one. I mean, it's basically it came out like when Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat were pretty popular. It's
Yeah.
kind of
But
was it a Midway game or is it no? It's
Actually, yes, it was
Okay.
produced by
Yeah.
Midway and
Yeah.
Rare, and it
Okay.
kind of came out somewhere in the lifespan of the fighting game craze, like sort of near the end. People were starting to get fed up with like all the Street Fighter clones, like the
Okay.
10 versions of Mortal Kombat 3.
okay, yeah,
And it's refreshing enough, it's different enough, I think, to warrant existing. Like it has a fun, unique combo system. Like some of the special moves and fatalities were stupid. They were just thrown in because like, oh, finishing moves because Mortal Kombat, that's
Right,
fun. Like,
right.
oh, I press down forward punch and then he melts the guy. The fatalities weren't nearly as violent as Mortal Kombat's, which was the highlight of those in the first place. So it's
Yeah.
like really pointless. But whatever. The fighting was fun. The combo system was solid. It's like it's not too easy to just pick up and play. If you sit down and spend some time with it, you can actually figure out the combos, and there's a universal combo system that you can pick up any character and do the combos and it works. It's good. It's fun.
Cool.
I never got good at it until like a week ago. I decided to actually sit down, devote some time to it, figure out how to play, read the instruction manual for once, and that helped a lot because now I can enjoy the game a lot more.
I
just
really
on a
like
basic
that
level.
combo system because it's really fun. Although it's simple, it's really fun to do. And the combos, like it's actually kind of one of the simpler fighting games. Like I hear. I don't really play it, and I'm terrible at it. When we were playing it just just earlier today, you were like kicking my ass like nothing. But you pretty much kick my ass at everything. So, but like basically like that's it's when you taught me, you were able to teach me the combo system in like 2 minutes, and it's like wow,
Yeah, it's
that's
like,
way simpler
This
than like
button
any other
links with
fighting
this
game that I
button.
did.
This button links
Yeah.
with this button. So
I mean,
like
that was-
jump, hit this,
yeah.
and then hit the one opposite
So-
it, and then you'll do like a 4-hit combo.
You know-
Automatically. 2 buttons. That's it.
Killer Instinct was really popular at the time. It was kind of a big like kind of pop thing at the time. Like they were, they had really cool music, really cool graphics.
It was a
like-
very flashy game.
Yeah, exactly.
The arcade cabinet, like it had 3D backgrounds that zoomed in and out.
Yeah,
Like the Super
characters
Nintendo
are
one
made out of
looks
CG
nothing
sprites.
like the arcade one.
It's meant to look fully 3D.
It
Although
seems
It had
almost
like,
like-
crazy CG
Yeah.
videos.
Yeah,
They
It
were
it's
all
seems
awesome.
almost like an exploitation movie,
Right, right.
except it actually has good content.
Right, yeah. So it's like, I mean,
Yeah, it's like,
Killer Instinct was
if you
an
like
interesting
Mortal
thing.
Kombat,
That
here's
was-
Sportal Gombat.
Yeah,
like,
I mean
just,
that was basically it didn't have the impact that a lot of the other games did. It kind of like dwindled a little bit, maybe a little bit like what was that other Midway game? Now this game was absolutely terrible. What was that? Primal Rage that came out.
Oh God, Primal Rage. Yeah,
that came out in like the heat of like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter being
Yeah,
popular.
that
If
game.
you
And-
want to
Ugh.
be giant
Wow.
monster
Yeah.
animals, just play Rampage.
And
Now
now,
Yeah.
fart on your
And
enemy.
now-
And if you want to play a fighting game
Right.
with a dinosaur, Killer Instinct has Riptor. He's a giant dinosaur.
Yeah.
And
You're a raptor.
He's
it's way cooler
It's
than
better.
what's in
It's
right.
fun.
Exactly. But okay, so that game sucks. Although I did like that you could kill the little cavemen that are walking around while you're
Yeah.
fighting.
And you can fart on your enemies.
and you can fart on your enemies.
You can
There's all
turn the
kinds
guy
of
into a
stuff. But
cow
it's,
as a
you know,
fatality.
when
It's
you
like,
actually
this
try to
is
play that
stupid.
game, like you can't ever fucking do any of the shit. Like all the fatalities and all that bullshit is like
Yeah, it's
so
like
difficult
hold 3
to pull
buttons,
off.
press like down, up, left,
God.
up, down, left, hold start,
Don't
and then
make
let
a
go,
game
and then hit
so
I
three
just
difficult.
want to see him throw up.
Exactly.
I want
Yeah.
him to piss on the dude. It'll be funny.
Don't make a game like so difficult that you're just like miserable that you can't pull it off. I mean, it's cool to make certain special moves like hard to do, but like that game like really just had terrible controls on top of
Yeah,
There
difficult.
should-
just doing
should
a
always-
simple
Yeah.
fireball attack required way more effort.
Yeah, there,
So-
there should always be
Ugh.
like a set of basic special moves that are easy to do,
Yeah.
and
It should
then
be like, here's
some
a down forward
higher
punch,
damage
there's some
special
kind
moves
of
that are more complicated.
projectile.
That's just the way it
And
should
if you
work.
want a stronger move, like make it a little more difficult to do. Like here's a half circle motion or something with 2 buttons, and
Yeah.
there's a stronger one.
Yeah. Yeah.
But don't like punish the player by trying to do a single projectile. By the time they've done it,
Yeah.
the fight's half over
So-
because it's a mess.
There was Killer Instinct. It was flashy and cool, but didn't hit very hard. There was things like Primal Rage. There was a
That
whole bunch of
just sucked.
bullshit.
I think the reason
But-
Clay Fighter.
Clay
Clay-
Fighter.
Clay
But
Fighter,
like there was
yeah.
there was basically
We were
there
playing
was so
those.
much there were so many
There were
fighting
so
games and
many.
like now we're coming back to basically with Street Fighter 4 and the most recent
it
Mortal
rejuvenated
Kombat. We're
the
back to Street
fighting.
Fighter and Mortal Kombat, and like those are going to be the ones still
Of
that are
course,
going to
The
be
same
the,
thing's happening where they're oversaturating the market
Yeah.
again with all these
But-
fighting games.
But those are
going to
be the ones. Those are going to. It's just. It seems like
Street
Street,
Fighter
Fighter,
4,
Mortal
Mortal
Kombat.
Kombat,
Didn't
are
they,
the ones
those are
that
still
didn't they
hold
good,
make a
but
new
people's
Killer
attention.
Instinct game like a
They
year
did.
ago?
Yeah,
they did.
there's
But
a new
like, who
Killer
remembers that
Instinct,
now?
Well,
Like,
yeah.
it's like
I hear that game's pretty good.
I
I've seen
hear it
played
is
in
good. I
April.
hear it is good, but still, people.
I don't
care
have
about
an
Street
Xbox
Fighter, people
One,
care
so I'll
about
never be able
Mortal
to play
Kombat.
it.
I don't think people are like in fighting games. It's like there's the hardcore community that cares about maybe more than Street Fighter. Maybe they like the SNK stuff or whatever. But it's like seems to be the like in America at least.
I
It's the
think
Street Fighter
Fatal
and
Fury
Mortal Kombat
Special.
shit.
There's
Which is
also-
awesome. That's the way it should be because I love Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat should get way more
Well, there's
attention. In fact,
also
it should be
kind
a
of
Mortal
the-
Kombat show.
You're talking very fast. There's also like a niche group.
I am
that-
not talking fast.
There's also like a niche group of people that probably
Not fast enough.
cares a lot about Tekken or what's the other one?
Virtua Fighter, Dead or
Virtua
Alive.
Fighter,
Right,
yeah.
and then there's the whole world
Virtua
of
Fighter,
3D
Fighter.
games.
Virtua
yeah.
Fighter and Tekken
Right.
and
Dead
Soul
or
Calibur.
Alive.
And
are
Mortal
prob-
Kombat and Street Fighter tried their hat at doing
Soul,
three
Soul
fighters.
Calibur too, but that's more. Those are
And-
more niche
yeah.
audience.
Now,
kinda
Soul
games.
Calibur is my favorite 3D fighter. That's the one that makes sense to me.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like
Like,
that too.
but-
I never liked Tekken. I understand why Tekken exists.
Yeah.
I've tried to play it. I know people like it. I never liked it. I
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
understood it.
Yeah.
or
I
just-
liked
it.
it.
Didn't click.
Yeah.
I remember liking
Tekken is hard for
Tekken.
me to understand. I never learned any of those things. The one that I learned other than Soul Calibur kind of was Virtua Fighter. I like Virtua Fighter. It's got a simple kind of combo system.
I kind of like the first Virtua Fighter
Yeah.
just for its cheesy, weird, like, here's sort of the first 3D fighter if you don't
Yeah.
count 4D boxing on the PC. I like weird old games I've probably mentioned before.
Yeah, the
It's
first
funny,
Virtua
they like
Fighters
jump
are
like they're on the moon, but other than that, like I never got, crazy good at it. I
Yeah.
could do a couple of neat combos, that's
the
it.
first Virtua Fighters are so different than the later Virtua
Yeah.
Fighters. Like the ones that they have now are like
They're
it's
more
ge-
faster. They're
yeah,
like
they're
Tekken
more
and shit.
realistic.
They're-
Like the movements are
everything's
look
kind
more
of
realistic.
blending
Like
together.
the
They even
and-
have Virtua Fighter fighters in the Tekken
Yeah.
games now.
The gameplay
or
goes so
something.
much
Or Dead
faster.
or Alive games. One of them
Yeah.
has one of them.
in the original Virtua Fighter, everything's like so like slow and floaty, especially the jumping. But like in now with Virtua Fighter games, it's like everything's way more fast. It's all about just juggling, and then there's also these really cool parry systems. And
I see people
I
play
never
it.
got into Virtua Fighter at all. I remember liking Tekken when I was like 13, but I don't give a shit about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like I don't care about any characters
there's
in
like
the
a
game or
kangaroo
Right.
or something. Like,
they're-
what the fuck's going
I don't
on?
know.
Barefoot boxing
I just
gloves.
remember it. I remember enjoying it because back then I liked fighting games, and it was like almost any fighting game I would like
Yeah.
automatically
So
because it was a
everyone's-
fighting game.
Okay, so here we go. I don't know if you guys ever think about this, but do you guys actually have like a favorite genre of video game?
Yes.
I don't know.
Anyone?
Yeah, mine's
You
exploration.
just said yes, and I said anyone. anyone.
Hack and
I'm right
slash.
here. I'm right here. Anyone. Okay, wait. Sorry. Okay, what do you like?
Hack and slash, Torchlight 2, Diablo.
Click on your problems, make them disappear.
Click
Okay.
on your problems, make them disappear. That's my favorite genre of
All
game,
right.
honestly.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay. So, what do you like about that? Like, generally, so that's a very specific genre. You mean just the ones that are like Diablo? You mean just Diablo and Torchlight?
Those are the main ones that I played, and
Okay.
There's still other good ones that you need to play.
there's other good ones I'm sure that I would like. It's just
No.
What do you think a perfect video game should do? That makes you like that genre.
What an easy question.
Yeah.
I can
I-
sum that up so quick.
yeah. I have fun playing it.
Right?
I don't get easily bored of it,
Okay.
and if I do get bored of it, I can come back to it later, and I can still enjoy it exactly. I can
Okay.
enjoy it just as much as I did before.
Okay. Well, I guess
And
that's the kind of
the-
the description
I mean,
anyone would give.
The game.
For
I
any
mean,
genre
here
that you
here's the
have.
thing that I like about it though.
Yeah.
For personally, the gameplay is simple enough
Mhm.
that it's easy to get into,
Okay.
but on like harder difficulties, it does get difficult.
Mhm.
And
It does get difficult, yeah.
It's just it's easy for me to get lost in it. Like
Right.
okay, with a lot of games, I'll get started in it and I'll be looking at the clock and I'm like, oh, it's only been 10 minutes.
Uh-huh.
Fuck. But with a game like that, I'll be playing it and I'll think I've been playing for half an hour and I'll look at the clock and it's been 2 hours.
Yeah, so you just want a game that
I
can
just-
lose you.
I just-
I mean, basically,
I just
a
get
game that
lost
you can
in
play
it.
for hours
Yeah.
that you get lost in. That seems to be maybe a reasonable explanation for almost any hardcore gamer that wants a good game,
And
no matter what genre they're looking
That's
for.
just
They want that kind of thing where it's like
that
they can get
genre
lost.
does that for
Yeah,
me.
exactly.
And that's
All
just
right, cool.
plain and
Jason,
simple
do you
the way
have
it
a
is.
favorite genre, or do you pretty much play everything? Like, I mean,
Kinda
you like fighting
go
games,
over
you
the
like
place.
puzzle games. Like, what?
And racing games.
Racing games,
action
yeah.
games,
Yeah.
RPGs.
No favorite genre.
I
then.
don't
Pinpoint a
know.
favorite?
Yeah.
Old games.
All
Yeah, I
right.
kind of like
That's
old
Jason's
bad
thing.
games. That's
Old
my
bad
favorite
games.
genre. Or like weird games, like
I never see you
I
playing
guess-
Mr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. or
no,
whatever.
but I guess
Okay.
like
Mr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. That was a good book.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not very dramatic. They're
it was
both nice
It
guys.
was written by
Yeah.
Robert Louis Poopinson, but no, I probably like platformers more than any other type of game. You're talking like Mario, Mega Man, that such. I like Sonic games, so yeah, I guess I do kind of like
So
crappy
platformers.
games.
Okay, cool, awesome. What about you, Lauren? What do you like? You
I-
tend to like the hardcore like RPG kind of
Yeah, I
stuff.
like RPGs and things that you can spend hours upon hours because I like getting my money's worth.
Yeah. okay.
So it's something that I can play like 10 times through and
Mhm.
spend 100 hours on is
Right.
like great.
yeah,
Whereas the games that you can beat in an hour or two, it's like I don't even want to bother with.
yeah. I used to be obsessed with this idea that video games would eventually be like simulations of reality and like simulations of just the fantasies that you have. You know, like I think we're getting to a point where we're realizing that maybe that's not going to happen for a very long time, where it will be indistinguishable from reality. But as a kid, seeing things as I was growing up in the '90s, seeing graphics advance so quickly and seeing experiences get so much better so quickly that
Yeah,
it
you
seemed
expected
there's a
it to
point.
continue.
It kept getting
it seemed
And then it
it was
kind of just
growing
leveled
exponentially.
off.
Exponentially,
it
but
seemed
then
like
now it's
between the
sort of
years
stopped.
2000 and 2010 before we got there, it was like it seemed like that those would be the years where video games would have reached perfection in
Every
a sense
day,
like
it's like,
everything
here's
was
a Doom
super
game.
immersive.
Here's a
and,
game
like-
that looks better than Doom. Here's
Yeah.
a game that looks better than the game
Right.
that looks better than Doom. And
Right.
it just kept getting crazier
And
and
that was
crazier
only in a
every
few
day.
years period.
And now it's like 5 years
Yeah.
go by, and it's like, we can have an extra
Yeah.
tree in the background.
the leaps and bounds
kinda
that
stopped.
the leaps and bounds that computers and video games and computer graphics and all that stuff happened the leaps that they took in the 90s was unbelievable compared to any other decade.
Yeah.
Like that was a time when it looked like video games were going to be something, and they still probably will be, but it's probably going to take a lot longer for video games to be completely, fully immersive virtual reality environments.
Well, that's the thing
and-
now is most people are like they don't try and push
Mhm.
what they have like they did back in the 90s, and now it's just like, well, here's the hardware we got, let's
Yeah.
make a game for it.
Well, I was hearing that like there's issues with like for instance computer advancement where it's like computers it's tougher and tougher for them to make computers go faster and faster. And also maybe there's just a limit to what our creative minds can do. Maybe we're actually like getting to the limits of what programmers and can even conceive of. Because
they
I
need to
also
do
thi-
some more shrooms or something.
yeah, because basically it's like a video game can be an amazing immersive experience, but I mean it's only as amazing and immersive as the people that can wrap their heads around it.
Now
that
we got
are,
a
that
bunch
are
of
making
games.
it.
It's like, here's
know,
a platformer.
you have to be
It
able
looks
to make-
like an old Nintendo game, and
Right.
that's half the games now on Steam.
I
It's just,
also
like,
think
weird.
the larger portion of gamers just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Exactly.
don't care about
Well, you mean graphics wise, right?
graphics wise.
They've
Yeah,
all
exactly.
settled into the stuff they like, the genres they
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
the game they like. So it's like,
It's-
I just want this again. But
Remember-
Yeah,
remember
a
when
lot of the gamers our age are like they want to go back to the era where they grew up, kind
Right.
of.
Yeah, there's a lot of nostalgia now for old styles now.
Yeah.
A lot of people are accepting old styles. There used to be this push to make everything new, everything like look
As
But
realistic.
now they're
as
trying to
possible.
make everything
Yeah.
look like old.
Like
games.
even little things like taking Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat and making them full 3D games. Like that was
But they
that was
still played
that was part of
like
that spirit
old
where it's like, oh, we have to advance everything. You know, now we're realizing that no, 2D fighters have their place, 3D fighters have their place. 2D fighters will always be appreciated.
Yeah. Well, you were saying something about like making it fully immersive,
Mhm.
but that can mean so many things. Like
It can.
it could mean a fully virtual reality world.
mean,
where
basically
you,
what
where
I
it
was
feels
thinking-
real to you, but
Yeah.
immersive can be like
Many things.
like
Right.
immersing yourself in any kind of game for hours at a
Right.
time.
I mean, honestly, it could
and
just be a
feeling
perfect
satisfied with
simulation.
it.
I always was fascinated by simulation games, games that would simulate war, or games that would simulate a journey, or basically games that seem to accurately, or at least strive to accurately simulate like certain experiences in the world. Like when you are like playing SimCity, I wanted a SimCity in the future like that would be the perfect simulation of building a city. Because SimCity 2000 is amazing. It's a great game, but it's definitely not realistic. But I was thinking in the future, there would be that sort of stuff, like stuff that was just absolutely realistic. Like where it's like, there's actually every person is accounted for. It's all actually working together. It's doing exactly what it's doing. It takes a realistic amount of time, although you can fast forward, of course, or whatever, that kind of bullshit, like to make it a playable game. But like, basically I was thinking games might get to a point where we could actually completely realistically simulate anything. And whether it's graphics or with just the game system. But and also one thing I was thinking as a kid, I was always watching Star Trek Next Generation, and the perfect video game, the holodeck, right?
Yeah.
Like so, like
Yeah.
that's what I wanted.
Yeah, that's a cool guy. Huh?
When is that going to happen? That would be amazing.
Yeah.
I want to see some big leaps and bounds. It's been a while since I've seen a new console or a new game that has new best graphics ever.
Where you like look at it and it's like, holy crap, this is the next big thing.
The last time I saw that was on N64.
Yeah, where it was
something like that.
We're used to Super
Yeah.
Nintendo and
Yeah.
maybe a little bit of 3D, but then we see this complete 3D console with the 3D worlds and everything, the analog stick and the way the movement was revolutionary, and you just look at it and go, holy shit, this is new.
I remember being
And
like 10
then
or
everything
11 years
since
old.
then was like, oh yeah, it's a 3D game, but it looks a little better.
Right,
Like that
right.
was basically it. It was like Soul Calibur and Dreamcast looked amazing. It was like, here's 3D, but even more awesome, better.
Yeah.
And then everything,
Dreamcast was another one. That was maybe the last one.
Yeah. Everything
Because-
since was basically just like, oh, it looks a little better, but it's still, it's like whatever.
When I saw the Dreamcast graphics for the first time, that did blow me away. That was
seeing
1999.
Sonic Adventure for the first time.
Yeah.
And just running from the frickin' whale and just like, holy shit, that opening cutscene.
Yeah.
I still think it looks great.
Do you remember the name of the fake Sherlock Holmes from Next Generation that Picard was obsessed with?
The fake Sherlock Holmes. I know the real Sherlock Holmes was in there.
There was a certain book series or something.
Oh, that
with
Picard
some-
was obsessed with. That wasn't Sherlock Holmes. That was a
Yeah, I know,
That
it
was
was
a
something
that was
like
a
it, though.
private eye. That was a private eye.
Okay.
It was just generic private eye.
It was something like
Yeah.
Sherlock Holmes, though.
Right.
And I remember, of course, this happened a couple times where the holodeck malfunctions or somehow they word it wrong to where the holograms can be harmful to people or something like that.
Yeah.
Takes
But
the
there,
safety
but
off.
there was one where Data wanted an experience from those books, and it seems that seems like a fun game if you actually had a holodeck to where like
What?
you come up with have the program come up with a Sherlock Holmes mystery and
Yeah.
you
And
play
you have to
Sherlock
solve it.
and
Yeah.
you have to solve the murder mystery
Yeah.
or whatever. That
That is a
seems
good
like
idea.
something really fun.
Yeah,
That is a good
that would be
idea.
that would be a cool type of thing.
What kind of games are you, Lauren? You are always telling me ideas about games that you would want to make. Like, do you have any like games that have stuck with you for a while that you've never seen done that you would want to see done, or like?
The patents are pending.
Yeah, we all we're the ones that are gonna. Everyone listening, do not make our games. We're gonna
will
make our
sue.
games eventually. Jason and Lauren are gonna learn how to program, and I'm gonna tell them how to do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it too.
Okay.
Well,
So-
I've seen games that have come close with like some of the ideas of the type of stuff that I like to do, like survival horror games and stuff are pretty cool. But there's like the one that I like the most is I took a chunk of the map from Grand Theft Auto San Andreas
Mhm.
is the upper left quadrant of the game,
You took a chunk of that.
and that would have been my game, like the map. that
Oh
you play on.
yeah. With the
And-
open like area, the open. What do you call
Well,
it?
just the topography. Of it.
Okay.
And
What is
then-
it? What is it like? It's like just the topography, or like also the environment. Like
yeah,
basically-
just the whole that map would be where you were playing. So all the
Part of
buildings,
the
so like the
all the
desert.
stuff.
It's like desert there,
Well,
or is it like?
yeah, it's a
airport.
desert area.
Okay.
And
Big open desert area.
big
from
open
San
desert
Andreas.
area
That's-
from
yeah.
San Andreas.
Yeah.
And there's like all these towns scattered here and there, and there's this one spot that I really like where I would think you could take like a post-apocalyptic world survival thing,
Mhm.
and here's your base. This is where you start, and then you have to just travel around the area to find parts and pieces and scavenge for stuff, and I always imagined it with the Half-Life 2 because I had played Half-Life 2 about the same time, and with you have the super technological enclave people over here in one area, and if you go too far that way, you'll start running into them, and if you start bugging them a lot, they'll actually start hunting for you and stuff like that. But then they have convoys from one side of the map to the other, and you can either avoid them or try and set up a trap to like take them on and then steal their stuff.
Okay.
And
awesome.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then there'd be like, then I played Fallout 3, and it's like, oh, well, this is kind of like
then you would
it.
take ideas from that.
But and then I got the idea of the roving traders and stuff that travel from town to town, and every once in a while you'll come out of Megaton, and here will be a guy selling something.
Yeah.
Well, I thought about that in my game, and it's like you could have the traveling traders, and maybe one of them will upgrade your base. And it's like you give them, you got to find the parts in the real world.
Yeah.
And maybe you have a type of currency or something that they use, and you pay some currency and have the parts and build a fence here or a house here or a guard tower over here. And if your base starts getting big enough, there might be NPCs that show up that want to live there. And maybe they have different skill sets and stuff, and they'll just wander around. Maybe one's good at healing and could maybe every day create some heal packs or something like that. Or maybe another one's like an engineer and can keep turrets working. And then if they're...
That's extremely complex.
Yeah, then if there's like attacks, like just like in Terraria, they've got swarms of enemies. Like that will come like a goblin attack, and your base gets assaulted by all these goblins, and you have to defend it. To have that kind of thing going on, where there's, you've pissed off the really high tech people, and they're one day they'd come along and try and assault your base, and you got to defend it.
Yeah.
So it's like it had all kinds of different ideas that came from different types of games, all thrown in there. And I even thought of a multiplayer way where you could do like teams, where one team's got one base over here and another team's got another base on the other side of the map.
Yeah.
And you can either ignore each other or go try and raid their base for stuff. And
you should write all this down.
Yeah,
you got like so many ideas.
Complex game
it's awesome that you've
probably
been kind of
never
thinking
be
about.
made,
You've been thinking about it for so long. You've been telling me like about it a couple times.
Yeah,
I
mean, I've had this ever since forever ago when San Andreas came out and Half-Life 2 was there. And
well, now it's on it. Now it's on a podcast. Now we've recorded it. So
now the one person that listens will go, "Oh, that would be a cool game."
And then you might see it. You might see it one day. But I think you could probably learn. Like you could probably like just dig your head into doing some programming and figure some of that stuff out. Mod something. Like start with the PC version of San Andreas.
Well, I always thought of using the Half-Life 2 engine with the Half-Life 2 game as the base, because those games are designed to be modded.
Yeah.
And you could kind of start with a mod like that. You just have to recreate the world.
Yeah.
But
they're making modding so easy now too. Like they're really like especially with Elder Scrolls, like all those games, like
Fallout 3 is like when that came out, I said, wow, it'd probably be even easier to make the game in that, because Fallout 3's got the open world that continually generates as you walk, and you don't have all the loading screens that Half-Life 2 would have.
Yeah.
So it's like the further the technology goes, the easier it would be to make the game. You just have to have the time and patience to make it.
And then
games are so big now.
And then
it's
your
like
mod gets super popular and it becomes as big as Dota.
Yeah. All right, Jason. Have you ever thought about what kind of game you would want to see that you haven't seen yet?
The Sonic game in recent years, it doesn't
That's
make
good?
me sad.
Oh, yeah, totally. No, that would be awesome. There you go.
I'd like to... I'd also like to see a fighting game, kind of like Street Fighter and stuff, but it's got all the fighting characters from all those types of games. So Street Fighter, SNK, Mortal Kombat,
Mugen.
Samurai Showdown.
Yeah, why don't they do that?
X-Men games.
You know what?
Just
You know
got
what
a
pisses
list
me
of
off?
600 guys to pick from.
Mugen.
They can't, even Ed Boon, the creator of Mortal Kombat, has said that like he's I think he said this, that he wants to do this, that he's talked to Capcom or tried to talk to Capcom or something like that. The Mortal Kombat versus Street
Capcom.
Fighter or Capcom, like just Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter game. Why can't we see that? Why can't we see that?
it'd be funny to see fatalities of like Ryu and Kin and all of them. What do they do for a fatality?
Yeah.
Okay,
He's
so
done
here's
because
here's an
if
idea
Mortal
for a
Kombat
game.
is involved,
So
you
here's an
have to
idea
have
for a game.
fatalities.
This is a game that I've been thinking about for a while. Okay, and I still haven't seen it done, and I'm trying to remember what it was.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
No. The idea being.
Mortal Kombat versus Killer Instinct.
Oh, that's what it was. I like it was vague imagery and vague like concepts in my head, and I was trying to all wrap it up into something I can make sense of. So basically, it was the idea that it's a first person game. It takes place on the Death Star. The point though is that you are who's that guy that runs the Death Star? Not Darth Vader, the other guy underneath him.
General Tarkin?
I think that guy. Whoever calls all the shots
Or
on the
Moff
Death Star.
Tarkin, whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah, Grand Moff
I was
Tarkin.
thinking
Peter
about
Cushing.
I was thinking about this. It came to me when I fell in love with games like Civilization or the Sim games or stuff like that, where the whole point is now I just would want it to be first person so it would be more immersive, but it doesn't have to be first person. But basically the idea is that it is a accurate simulation of day-to-day tasks and making sure it's like playing Sim Tower, except it's the fucking Death Star. And I know they've made that game on the fucking iPhone.
Yeah,
but
I've got Tiny Death Star on
right,
my iPhone.
but I mean more fucking complex
it's not,
than that.
It's
Like
not
a
immersive.
like a full PC game.
I mean a full PC game
something where you're
you have-
actually running around.
where you have to deal with the economy, with keeping people happy, with or whatever. It's a fucking Death Star, so you have military. You don't have people that you're keeping
well,
happy.
the
But
Death
basically-
Star was full of millions of just civilians.
Yeah, so there you go.
It's
keeping
sort of
peop-
like the
ma-
Enterprise,
taking care of
where
issues.
it's
But there would be a political.
their families or
like the game
something there,
Civilization.
probably.
Yeah.
There would be many aspects to the game. There would be a political aspect. There would be a military aspect where you have to defend the Death Star. Where you have to obviously, like the rebels will be attacking it. You are on
First person
you are,
Death
there-
Star
you-
toilet
You
cleaning.
can control exactly.
I
you
have
can
to
control
unclog this
unclog the
toilet.
toilet.
first
Death
person
Star.
toilet cleaning, and then next minute red alert, and you're having to defend the Death Star.
And then it's right back down. Plunge in the shit.
you should be able to take control of any member of the Death Star at any point.
That'd be kind of
Yes,
like
that would be
take-
awesome. There
Take
you go.
over,
Dungeon
take
Keeper.
over,
Yeah,
take
Dungeon
control
Keeper
of the
2.
janitor and
yeah,
clean the toilets.
it would
or
be
then-
Dungeon Keeper style where you can
You control
possess
the enemy,
one of your.
and then you're
Oh, that
running
would be
around
great.
From
And then
their
you-
perspective,
yeah.
in first person, you're running around the dungeon you made. That's how that works.
Yeah,
Also, the
that was a
other
fun game.
big motivation for this to be a first-person immersive experience is I would like to see someone fucking create the Death Star. Like I want to
Right.
see the real Death Star. I want to be able to walk over all of it. You know, like one of my favorite games of all time is an adventure game called Titanic: Adventure Out of Time, where they faithfully recreated the actual Titanic and every inch of it. And the coolest thing about it, even though it was kind of a mediocre adventure, because the story was kind of and
Wonder
the-
what's going to happen
like,
at the end.
right.
What's
The game was
ending like?
fascinating because you could actually walk to every place on the Titanic. You could just explore it, and it was all real. Like it was all the way
It's the
was
poop
actually.
deck.
It was all. It was all the real thing. Like so, that was one of the most fascinating games I played. I was like, this could be
Yeah.
somehow if they could do that with the Death Star, like actually literally build it
Basically
somehow
virtual
digitally in a
Yeah,
computer.
let's
Yeah.
wander around the Titanic and cut off all the lifeboats,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
see what happens. At
No,
the
it'll
end of
be
the game.
funny.
So anyway, that's my idea for a game. Anyway, we've been going for a while now.
Yeah.
A while. So anyway,
An amount of time.
anything you guys want to feel like talking about? What are we doing? What do you guys
Here's
you guys feel like talking about anything else? or-
Here's a game or movie that I want to see.
Yes.
The Borg.
Well, did we ask you? Did you tell me? Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Wes's
Wes's turn.
The Borg versus Alien.
Borg
that
versus
would be
Alien.
Cool. That would.
How
be
would that
cool.
work?
You know, you
Borg,
got the
that's a-
aliens,
I don't
the
know.
aliens, but
I
then
don't
you got
know.
the Borg.
Yeah.
What would happen?
Somebody figure
Somebody
it out.
figure it out. You got the name. That's
the-
it. That's
the-
all you need.
the-
I
the
don't even. You don't
aliens-
even need to explain it. I
Yeah,
can see
yeah.
the whole game right now. You don't even
Yeah.
need to explain it. It's enough said. Borg
I mean,
versus Alien. Enough said.
They've done Alien
I
and
see
I,
it.
don't,
Superman.
I actually don't care what media it's done in. Comic book, movie, video game. I don't care.
Game Boy. Game Boy.
Game Boy. I don't care. Somebody
Is that a medium?
somebody should do that.
That would be interesting because they have the comics of like Alien and Superman.
Yeah, everyone's doing
Here's what I
Alien-
think, though. Here's what
Everyone's
I think,
doing
though.
Alien versus Predator or whatever.
Right, right.
I think the Borg would be a much better.
That would
enemy
be
What
for
about
Alien.
interesting.
what about Alien versus Predator versus Borg?
Do
What if they just like put the Borg in the next Alien
yeah,
Fighter
versus
game?
Alien.
Do
What
the
if they made
Borg
the next
assimilate
AVP?
the
What if
aliens,
AVP
or the
AVP
aliens
three
Throw
just
in
had-
Freddy and Jason in
there you
there
go.
while you're at it.
Yeah, I actually would, and I don't want some cop out bullshit ending where it's a tie
Yeah.
somehow.
someone
I want
wins.
I want to
wins?
actually I want somebody to analyze.
Which one would
Which
actually
one
win?
would
Which
win?
one
I want
could
somebody
win,
to
and then
to do a deep
have one.
analysis of both of them and figure out who would actually win in an ideal situation.
Not just
That
a
would
coin
be
flip. Like,
interesting.
oh, let's
That's a
have
very
one
interesting
winner.
concept.
Yeah,
I would say that's
I'd
actually
love to
really
see
interesting. Like there's. I'm trying to figure it out right now because you'd think because it's the Borg, right? They can assimilate anyone, so there would be Borg aliens
Maybe?
at some point on
I
their
just have a
side.
question. Question.
yes.
From the, what is a Borg? I don't watch Star Trek.
Oh my god!
Space zombies.
That must
Oh.
be that's like a whole nother podcast.
Space zombies are cool.
It is space zombies, but they are bad ass. It's the best space zombies you could possibly imagine.
It's like they
It's a
have
silly
they have
name. It sounds like a
um,
They
robot.
assimilate technology.
Honestly, you
from
should just watch the first
everything they can
episodes.
find.
Dude, I got a Borg phone.
Yeah.
It's got a 3.8 gigahertz gobbledygook on it.
The episodes in Star Trek: The Next Generation, they come from Star Trek: The Next Generation.
They even have the movies.
the
that the
yeah.
Borg are in.
Yeah, the episodes,
And then the Borg have a heavy presence in the Voyager.
Exactly.
Which I love the Voyager.
the
Star Trek
Voyager was great.
That was my
but
favorite.
the way they this is why the Borg rock so much.
This
Is
game
the
knowledge
way
of
they
Star Trek
the
is
way
that
they
Captain
introduce
Picard
them.
rap song.
The way they introduce them in Next Generation needs to be seen by people. Those are great episodes.
I'm a people.
It's so you should watch at least the first Borg episodes. Have you ever seen Lauren? You watched Voyager. Have you ever seen the first Borg episodes of Next Generation?
Probably maybe one of them, but that was like when I was really little, so I can't remember.
The way they set up this villain is so because the Borg is like one villain, right? But like
Yeah.
the
Some
way
guy
they
with a
set up
twiggly bad guy mustache tying a
Yeah.
girl to a space railroad tracks.
the way they set up this villain is so well done. It's like one thing after another they discover about the Borg. And to see Starfleet for the first time encounter the Borg and discover one thing after another that's
They're
bad.
scary. Guess
Worse.
what? They're really scary.
Worse.
Guess what? They're
Worse.
even scarier.
Like it's the scariest episode ever because because the first episode where they encounter the Borg, you really are almost convinced there's no way that they can beat them. Like it's like
shot him
in the head
and he's
dead.
What do I do?
Pretty much,
It's a
yeah.
fascinating episode.
Push
the
him out of
episode.
airlock.
This is what the episode is about. You know the character Q.
Yeah.
He's the guy that introduces them to the Borg. Okay, so
Here's
basically,
my friend the Borg.
so basically,
Oops.
the episode is about Q playing a mind game on Captain Picard, and Captain Picard has to. It's basically Q forcing Captain Picard to say, "I need you."
Yeah,
Because
he
because
wants
the
he wants them
episode-
to
the
he
episode
wants them
starts.
to realize he basically wants them to realize what a narrow view of the universe they
right,
actually
and
have.
Captain Picard is so confident that they can handle any situation. Q is
Yeah.
pissed off by that,
because
and
he's
also
like, you've explored
and also
such a minute amount of the
Yeah,
universe.
yeah.
It's
There's so
insane.
much you
and
don't
also
know.
and Q is pissed off that Captain Picard keeps telling him to go away because Q is lonely and wants them to want him around.
I want
You know, he
friends.
likes
Yeah.
poking fun of them.
I want
but,
you to
but
want
Q
me,
actually
want
really
you.
wants to be around them, and he wants to make Captain Picard say, "I need you." And so what he does is he sends them to a part of the universe or a part of the galaxy that he knows that they cannot compete with. And it's like watching Captain Picard get broken is awesome. Like that's an amazing experience watching that episode. Anyway,
it's-
because
it's
he's
incredibly
trying
good.
to
Just
logic
start
his way
singing,
out of this.
Captain
But honestly,
Picard,
when they first
the
encounter the
actor-
Borg, the Borg are the ultimate villain that cannot be handled. Like they have to. In fact, the way the episode ends is they just say, "We give up. Q,
Because
save us."
Here's
Like-
I mean, here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing is they've encountered like godlike creatures before,
Yeah,
but they can be reasoned with.
that's the point. Yeah,
That's
the
the
point
thing.
is that there are things
The
out
Borg-
there that cannot be reasoned
That
with.
is logical. I
that
think
are
that's
that are
weird.
way, more powerful than you
Yeah.
and can't be reasoned
Yeah.
with. That's the deal.
So the Captain Picard arc with the Borg is one of the most interesting arcs, especially have you seen First Contact? That movie?
probably once. Our mom
Okay.
like watched Star Trek.
Anyway,
and Next
okay, I'm
Generation,
nerded
all
out on,
that
but
stuff,
because you just, Jason, you said you didn't even know what a Borg was. It's the ultimate villain. It's the ultimate zombies in space.
But it's so much cooler than that.
Yeah.
It's so much cooler than zombies.
Because
in
Listeners
space.
can't see this, but
Really?
I'm poking my neck meat because I have.
All right, well maybe we should cut it now.
Are you poking your neck meat skeptically?
Yeah,
Maybe
kind
we should,
of.
we've been going for a
Okay.
while.
Also
Maybe we
from
should cut it now.
confusion, I'm just kind of.
I had fun. What do you guys want to say anything or talk about anything else before we cut it off, or is that the
So
podcast?
yeah, they were gonna put Killer Instinct on the
Oh,
Nintendo
right.
Ultra.
Cutting it
64.
now.
Wait, come on.
Okay, what are you talking
It's
about?
interesting.
pulling.
Like if they'd actually put Killer Instinct on the N64, it would have been cool. But if they didn't, and it would have been neat. Get your finger away from there.
Well,
Move
didn't
it,
they do
move
Killer
it.
Instinct Gold? Wasn't that on?
Yeah,
this?
that was Killer
That's
Instinct.
my favorite
too.
too.
The microsecond that I get bored, I'm stopping this recorder right now.
Yeah. Or well, I'm sure
You
people
guys
are.
like
Maybe that's how we should end our
saltwater
podcast.
taffy?
We don't end our podcast, and we just wait for everyone to tune out.
It just
Oh,
keeps
God.
recording. We all walk
But
away.
we're pre-recording. It's not live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I can
This is
sense
gonna
them.
take
I can sense, I can
forever.
feel
Yeah.
their presence.
We're gonna be
you can
here
hear
a
us all
while.
get up and leave and close. And
How
the West
about
Coast
we
to
just
sleep.
let it run until it runs out of space?
I can hear
Yeah,
them not
card.
clicking on our link.
I always
clicking
hear that
sounds
though.
What does the sound of not clicking on a Facebook link sound like?
Kind of like a wet fart.
I'm
guessing.
Let's just make this go for a 3 hour. Let's do a giant bomb. Let's pull a giant bomb and go for 4
I don't
hours.
think we have enough material.
I get on the internet and
I think
in the
we're gonna
news
get-
today. Some producer from some game studio went to a different game studio. How
Oh my
about
God.
that? Well,
Actually, I did. It
I
is
think
getting
we're
a
gonna
little warm in here.
get. I think we're gonna get tired of talking to each other before that happens.
Yeah.
Before
I know
3
I'm
hours is
fucking
up.
fed up.
But
with
we
it.
won't stop the recording. We're gonna leave the recorder going. We're just gonna have dead silence for 2 hours.
or you'll just listen to us play.
No
Cards
one
Against
talk to each
Humanity.
other. We'll
Yeah.
just stare at different
Yeah,
corners
and
of the
that'll
room until
be
it's time to go home.
Boring.
That sounds fun. All right. Well, let's call it there, I guess.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
All right.
yeah.
Bye.